Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this evening or afternoon, stateside, we're joined by Teddy Burriss, who is a strategist, a LinkedIn strategist, coach, and an entrepreneur as well. And we're going to have a little chat about LinkedIn, networking, business, and entrepreneurship in general, and all those sort of things. So, how are you doing today, Teddy? You okay?
I'm doing great, man. It's 3:45 in the afternoon. I got a beautiful sun outside, crystal clear blue skies. My water is ice cold, and I'm going to cook dinner at 5:30.
Okay, brilliant. And you're in South Carolina, aren't you, in the States? Yeah.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
A little bit further up north. I'm one of these guys that they refer to as a Yankee that's turned into a rebel.
Oh, is it? Okay. Is it a bit warmer or a bit colder in the north?
Between North and South Carolina, it's about the same, but we're above freezing for the rest of this week. Actually, I think we're going to hit 50 today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cold. Yeah, that's because you always work in Fahrenheit, don't you? In the States,
yeah.
We always use Celsius. I think that's usually in low, towards the 5 degrees or something like that. I think it's cold.
Yeah, 30 is close to 5 degrees. 35 is close to 5 degrees C. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're between 5 and 10. It's probably where I am at the moment in the UK. It's probably not that different.
Yeah.
So
I can bundle up. I know how to bundle up.
Yeah, brilliant. We call it in Wales cwtchin. You know, when you keep close to other people to get their warmth.
With you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ted or Teddy, and tell us a little bit about your business at the same time, and maybe even a little bit about how you come to be involved in the LinkedIn strategy.
Yeah. It's Mike, I took my very first sales job in when was that? It was 2005. Took my very first sales job. I was 49 years old, I think. And I asked the guy who hired me as a senior business developer, because I was the dude with the most of the gray, even when I was 49, 16 years ago. I said, what's the one thing I know, that I need to do and I need to do right in order to be a good salesperson? Logical question. Okay. He said, I want you to cold call nonstop. And I'm like, no way do I want to be a cold calling fiend. I just don't want to be that person. No. But so I'd already quit my corporate job, turned in the keys to the Lamborghini and the keys to the hangar where the King Air was, and turned in the keys to the giant stadium where we had a booth. Basically turned in my corporate world. So I immediately looked him straight in the eye and said, yes, sir. But I started down a route, a journey of figuring out a better way to be a salesperson.
Okay.
Not that I can't cold call. So I discovered social media. I discovered LinkedIn. I discovered blogging. I discovered YouTube. And I started building my network, not only in real life, but around social media. And that's when I discovered, Mike, hey, this is some cool stuff. Most people don't know how to use social media as business tools. So I'd already planned that at the end of 2010 to create my business. And that was the big business that I created, teaching social media. Predominantly, it's turned into teaching LinkedIn as a business tool.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I went through a very similar process because I was running a telesales team and we were selling to credit controllers, finance managers, finance directors, people who don't like to be contacted really. And so I actually was an early adopter to LinkedIn. I'm talking about now maybe 20 years ago. I was one of the first 0.5% users. And I know that because I had a report on their 10th anniversary, which said so, and it gave me all my stats and my figures over all of the time. And and basically, I thought, well, these people are avoiding everyone. There must be a better way. And obviously, early adopter to LinkedIn, I started using that and actually started finding out I was getting good results. So I actually taught my telesales team how to become a LinkedIn lead generation team, And so I understand exactly what you've done. And I was lucky as well. I got promoted 9 times in 6 years. So I was lucky because I was earning more money, but also I was changing my title quite a lot. And what I realized is that with different titles, that's different access to different rooms and groups and different responses, etc. So actually, I teach a little bit of advice with social. I actually run a digital marketing agency now, and I go deep into all socials. But one of my little tips on LinkedIn is about making sure that people use them have the right titles to be able to get the right conversations going and get into the right rooms, etc. So yeah, I 100% believe in everything that you do, and it's a great service that you're doing. So tell us a bit more about your journey and the areas you specifically help people with and all of that.
So Mike, I'm a solopreneur, co-founder of a 3-person company today, and I don't have the desire to spend a bunch of money on marketing. I don't have the desire to do a bunch of ad campaigns and do pay-per-click. I've experimented with all of that, but it's not how I want to grow my business. I want to grow my business by being discovered in lots of formats. So for the past 10 years, I've been building my brand on not only LinkedIn, which I've got 20 some odd thousand followers on LinkedIn, but I've also been building my brand on YouTube, where I now have 600 videos predominantly around one topic, LinkedIn, and through Quora, where I've got over 8 million views of my over 5,000 answers on Quora. And again, the questions I answer are typically around one topic, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And then I'm growing. I get a little bit around Twitter, a little bit around Facebook and Instagram, but it's predominantly I've grown my business on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Quora.
Well, there's some impressive numbers and some impressive stats there. So you've been consistent and persistent and highly targeted and highly focused on that LinkedIn, niche, if you like, or niche, as you would say.
Yeah, you've got to be. I mean, there's lots of organizations out there that have a broad portfolio of solutions, but I just think for a limited number of resources, that a niche is a much more important thing to be. I can't know everything about all social media. I can't know everything about sales. I can't know everything about marketing, but by golly, I think I can get to them pretty close to knowing most about LinkedIn as a business tool.
Yeah.
And it works. I'm blessed that I get a decent number of referrals. I'm blessed that I get a decent number of people who sign up for my one-on-one coaching. I have a mastermind group that people sign up for. And 2021, I'm relaunching what I did in 2019 and building a whole new webinar series that people can sign up for this webinar series. And it works. And most importantly, Mike, I love helping people and I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah, good man. We sound very similar. We sound very similar because I'm the same as well. I love helping people. I help people all the time. I'm always sharing their content on LinkedIn. I share other people's posts on my pages and all that sort of stuff. I'm always doing 3-way introductions between my connections and other people. I think it's an amazing tool, LinkedIn. And actually, I had a bit of a spell not on it for a while after using it for like 10 years. For the last sort of like maybe 8 years before the last couple of years, I used a lot of Twitter and blogging and other platforms. I use a lot of podcasting and YouTubing now, a bit of TikTok, Clubhouse. I'm always innovating on new stuff. I still use some of the traditional stuff as well. But I've noticed I've been using LinkedIn massively in the last couple of years, especially since the start of the pandemic, because the usage on LinkedIn has gone through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that when the pandemic kicked in, my LinkedIn profile views went up from, I typically average about 2,500 profile views every 90 days. It went up into 3,500, nearly 4,000 profile views every 90 days. It's leveled back off a little bit. Engagement went through the roof. Invites went through the roof. Messaging went through the roof. And so, yeah, a part of what I teach with LinkedIn and Sales Navigator, Mike, is a philosophy and a set of practices called virtual networking.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn and Sales Navigator play a huge role in virtual networking.
Yeah, good. And yeah, it's funny because a friend of mine is actually called Virtual Power Networker, and he runs 150 WhatsApp groups. So he's a really good contact of mine as well. I'll put you in touch with him if you like. In fact, he probably got a LinkedIn WhatsApp group which you could be a part of and be an influencer in. So I'll recommend it to you. And if he haven't got one, he would set one up. I'm pretty sure he has got one. I think he's got like
I appreciate it. I'm always open to introductions to other people who are doing interesting and fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, me too. I'm a power networker. I'm an award-winning networker. I won an award in 2018 in front of Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone, which was networker at Intrabiz, which is used to be Wales's biggest business network. It's now one of the UK's biggest business networks, but it's going global, and we have business from all around the world since the pandemic and everything moving online. And we do summits as well. We do three. We're doing 3 this year: March, June, and October. And we're always looking for speakers as well, and coaches, and all that sort of thing as well. So we definitely connect on that level. I can send you some information about all of that.
That'd be fun.
Mastermind. So I run a strong communicators mastermind. I'd love to have you in that. I'd also come into yours as well if you wanted to. In my mastermind is all podcasters and influencers and Mark, who runs our network, is WhatsApp users, all that sort of thing. I've got 100 Facebook pages. I've got about 50 Facebook groups. I'm on Crowd, what's it called? The new one, Clubhouse, where I'm running rooms.
Oh, you're on Clubhouse? Yeah.
I'm running rooms on that. I've got about 5 Instagrams. I've got a couple of YouTube channels. I've got about 3 TikToks. I've got 5 LinkedIn accounts. I've got loads. I'm busy. 5 websites with blogs, WordPress. I love marketing. I love sales. I love communicating. I love sharing other people's content and helping them. So that's why I got all of those platforms, and I'm more than happy to engage with you more. And it sounds to me like you're on a similar mission, doing similar things. So the more we can sort of help amplify each other's message, the more successful we can be from the compound effect.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. Yeah. So, but yeah, what other questions or ideas do you have that I can help your audience with, Mike?
Well, I would say, somebody like yourself who, knows LinkedIn inside and out, I would say, there's a lot of people who pivoted from being on the road and on telesales and whatever, having to use LinkedIn all of the time now as a lead generation tool. You obviously used it for a long time for that purpose, or for networking and connecting. What would be, some of the tips that you think people who are new to the platform, obviously a lot of them would have joined in the last year now, but there still may be some late adopters to the platform as well. What would be some of the tips you'd like to share with them?
Well, I'll give you some tips to share. Just a stat that might be interesting to know, that I ought to go back and do the research on this specifically and clear it up and be real clear about it. But LinkedIn averages 2 new members every second. That's been pretty consistent for I've been measuring it, but I have a tool to measure this. I've been measuring it for the past 5 years myself. LinkedIn states this in their PR statements. So 2 new members every second, and it's been pretty consistent. I'm gonna go back and check. I haven't checked for the last 8 months. I want to go look and see for the last 8 months what it's been. I would wager it's been just a tick higher, but 2 going 2.5 is still, that's a big increase. But here's a tip. Here's a tip. Every one-on-one engagement that you have with your LinkedIn network does not need to be via LinkedIn message. Think about that. If I want to do a one-on-one engagement, if I'm going to do an engagement with someone who's highly relevant to my business, I'm not, first and foremost, I'm not going to start with a LinkedIn message.
Okay.
I'm going to start with a Zoom call, maybe a phone call, maybe a business email. Okay. If I'm going to get pushed because I don't have enough content to get to them in other ways, if I'm going to get pushed into a LinkedIn message, here's another idea. Use the mobile app, because on the mobile app, I can do two things. Number one, I can send you a voice message via the LinkedIn mobile app. Number two, I can send you a video message via the LinkedIn mobile app. So every engagement you do with your target audience that you're connected with on LinkedIn does not need to be via text.
No.
It can be by Zoom, phone, email, business email, LinkedIn video message, LinkedIn audio message. The lowest option would be a text message.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good tip. I actually have got I've got a YouTube introduction video to me, just welcoming people and telling them, what I'm about, and I'm looking to help them and all that sort of thing. And then when I get people connect with me, etc., I send them the link. So instead of me having to tell them what I'm about, I just send them the link to a YouTube video and let them watch that. So yeah, that's because I've seen a few other people doing that. So I thought I'd try it, and it worked really, really well. And it helps me get my views up on YouTube as well. So it's like win-win. And I don't think LinkedIn use the messenger as part of their assessment, because I know a lot of platforms don't like you linking to other platforms, but I haven't noticed LinkedIn having any problems with that in the messenger,
No, and YouTube videos all over LinkedIn is a powerful way to get your message out.
Yeah. I've started using a lot of YouTube videos on my posts, instead of just text posts and or picture posts. But videos tend to pick up a few more. Now am I right in thinking, I found this out the other day, that that LinkedIn have changed the 10 likes in the first hour system to something a bit different?
Are you talking about the algorithm for a post?
Yeah.
So they are mixing it up. They are changing it up. I don't know the integrals of that algorithm, but I do know they're changing that up for the first hour. Maybe it's a little bit longer period of time. And maybe there's a second wave that comes in that they bring that post back up to get more views. But I also know that the old adage that we've been saying for the last 2 or 3 years, that LinkedIn reduces the presence of your post if you have a third-party link in it. Well, that is no longer as blunt as it used to be. So you can have a post that is native and stays in LinkedIn, as well as a post that kicks you out to a website or to a YouTube. That it is not as restricted for views as it used to be. So that's a great enhancement.
That's a great enhancement, because nearly every post that I do has a native link elsewhere, because I use my posts for what they should be used for, which is driving traffic to your website or to your own assets. I'm big into building your own assets, not relying on other people's assets that are built on sand and can be taken away from you at any time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll tell you another tip that I'll share with you, Mike, is that one of the reasons why I've gotten so many views on Quora, and the value of Quora to me, is that my Quora profile has all of my links. Just remember, I got to add a link. Has all of my links to all of my revenue generating sites, as well as my LinkedIn profile, my YouTube channel. So what I do on Quora when I answer a question is I often, not always, but often will answer the question with a YouTube video.
Okay.
And so in that way, and in every answer ends with text that says, if you want to learn more about how I can help you, look at my Quora profile. which drives them back in Quora to all of my links, including my revenue generating stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So just a great way to get more reach for my videos, give a higher value answer, and create a higher brand on Quora.
Yes, good idea. I actually started using Quora, I think March, April last year, but I was just so busy, I just couldn't keep up with it. Like, you got to do a lot of answers before you start getting some benefit from it, haven't you?
I've got 5,000 answers in there, and that's been over since March of 2016.
Yeah, because I do so much other stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't find it. I probably should do it again, but I just couldn't find that continuity, that consistency that I do on some other stuff. Just push to the max, I think.
Yeah. I just quit Tinder, and that gave me more time.
Yeah, good man.
I didn't quit Tinder.
Hey, do you know what?
I didn't quit Tinder because I didn't start Tinder.
I got a great idea for you, right? Which I'll discuss off air if you like, just for a couple of minutes when we're done. Which you might want to get involved in actually. So I think sometimes a bit of peer pressure is good for me because I've had it in my head for a while, and I'll cover that in a bit. But yeah, is there anything else about LinkedIn or anything else that you do service-wise that you'd like to mention to the listeners and the viewers at all?
Yeah, Mike, I just, at the end of the day, my purpose is to help business professionals in all types of industries understand and master using LinkedIn as a business tool. So if someone wants to have a conversation with me about how they can get more value of it, I'm always open to a conversation. I'm always open to answering a question. Furthermore, for those who really want more help, then I'd love them to go visit my website, burrissconsulting.com. You can find all my products right there, my mastermind group, my one-on-one coaching, my new webinar series is there, as well as contact information to talk about corporate training and business training. So anybody want to have a conversation, I'm always open to that.
Brilliant. And I was going to say, would you have 3 tips maybe for the people to make sure they include when they're enhancing or updating their profiles?
I got 3 solid tips. These are rock solid. Anybody miss these are screwing up big time. Number 1, have a profile picture. It needs to show that you're approachable. Without a profile picture, you're clearly saying you're not approachable. Number 2, have your contact information have current, accurate, tested contact information. I strongly recommend a website, the right website, a business email address, and a business phone number. And number 3, remember, your LinkedIn profile is a brochure, not a resume. So think brochure when you build it and speak clearly to your target audience. Again, you're not selling to everybody. You're selling to a very targeted group of people, and you need to know who they are.
Yeah, okay, that's fantastic tip. What I always tell people as well is make sure they complete their profile to at least 100%. Make it as what they call a star plus or super plus or something profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I haven't seen that in a while. That may have gone away. It's been a while since I've seen that ranking. Let's see if it's still there.
I think it might still be there.
Yes, it's on your dashboard.
Yeah, I think it is there.
On the dashboard. It's called All-Star.
All-Star, that's the All-Star profile. Yeah, I've had one for a long time. You probably have too, which is why you probably can't remember it because once you've got it filled up, it doesn't pop up. It used to pop up when it was on 60, 70, 80%, but it doesn't now, I don't think. Yeah.
No, once you pass a certain level, you don't get those kinds of prompts anymore. And then you just got to be constantly thinking about what else can I put on my profile? How else can I write my profile? So I'm speaking clearly to my target audience.
Yeah, something I always recommend people to do as well is make sure they got their company page on there as well. Do you do much with the company page side of things? So I do
2 things or 3 things, Mike. One is I'll help people create a company page. Two is I will help them improve their company page and understand how to use it, and in some cases I help them use it.
Yeah.
Three is there are a lot of company pages out there that are what's called dormant. They were created by LinkedIn years ago. And so I can help people recover.
So claim their page and put some information on it.
Yeah, claim it, brand it appropriately, get their team connected to it, and then start using it so that their company page is speaking clearly to their target audience.
Yeah. Do you find, this is something I think I found, but I'm not 100% on, but do you find company posts don't seem to work as well as personal ones?
So there's an art to getting a company page post to serve the purpose. You can't just put it out there. You've got to build a following to your company page, and that also is a very deliberate set of tactics of building your following to your company page. That can't just be the responsibility of the marketing department. You've got to have your key employees be a part of that task to invite their following to the company page. But you've also got to be very deliberate when you create content. You've got to use different processes to get that content viewed. And it's not about sharing it. The worst thing you can do with a piece of company page content is ask everyone to share it. Let me repeat. The worst thing you can do with a piece of company page content is ask everyone to share it.
What's the best thing?
It's much more tactical.
What's the best thing that you can do?
You ask all of the right people to engage on it in meaningful ways.
So to have a conversation in the comments, basically. Yeah. Absolutely get a conversation started, and that content's more likely to get seen by the right people. Yeah, good idea. And that's the same with personal posts as well, Mike, isn't it? You have a conversation in the comment section, and your views will go through the roof. Yep. If it's a long. Yeah, the more engagement, the more engagement you get, the more people to hang around your baby, the happier your baby will be. Yeah, good. That's my analogy. Yeah, great. And actually, I struggle to get some followers to my company pages. I don't do as much posting on them as I do my personal. Would you have a couple of tips there on how you can grow that? One of my pages got about 600 followers, and I don't know how they got there. They just appeared like over time. So I'm looking at your intro biz page, and your intro biz page has got 503 followers now. Yeah, well, that's the company I work for page, but I've also got my own company, my own business page, which is called MA Consultancy as well, and it's on about 600. So those two pages, how do you get those numbers up with people who you want to be engaging with? So you've got to feed it. You've got to feed your company page content that your target audience wants. Yeah. And one of the ways that I do that is I have a social listening style, Mike, that I listen to what people talk about. I listen to what they say. I listen to the questions I get, and then I write them down on sticky notes. Yeah. And when I write it down on a sticky note, and I'm unfortunate, I only have 6 pieces of paper in front of me right now. I've had it as big as 10 or 12, but then that becomes a LinkedIn page article, a personal article, a blog article, a YouTube video. It could be a series of tweets. So I don't write what I think you want to know. I write what I get asked about. Yeah, and that's where Quora kicks in then for you, really, because you're constantly being asked for things that are of the moment, if you like, or of the now that are relevant right here, right now. Yeah, or in all the consulting I do, because I coach hundreds of people every month, and all the coaching I do, I listen to the question like, wow, nobody's asked it that way. I mean, I could write
20 posts about how to build a LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to write 20 posts just about how to write your headline because people ask me questions about it 20 different ways.
Yeah. What's your yeah, that's really great actually. But you just sparked off a question in my head, which I'd like to ask you actually. Quite a lot of people put their name and then what they do in their name, you know, to appeal towards the search engines. Is that something you would recommend or not? Because
I would absolutely do not recommend that. I will not disrespect my name with any other words. I'm Teddy Burriss.
Yeah.
And I want that to be first and foremost in everybody's mind. I don't need you to know. Do you know the name of my company?
Yeah, only because it's in the background, burrissconsulting.com.
Ah!
Burriss Consulting Inc. Yeah. Otherwise,
nobody ever asked me that. The only people who need to know that are people who write checks that my boss gets downstairs in the other office.
Yeah.
So I don't need to disrupt it. Furthermore, if I'm doing the right thing with my content, if I'm sharing and engaging and built my profile right and all that stuff, then you're going to learn what I do through my content.
Yeah.
People are they're piling up. They're piling up too many, too much. What's the word? Demand on that one field.
Yeah.
And that's a huge missed opportunity to do it that way.
Yeah, well, I'm the #1 Mike Armstrong on LinkedIn. If you search for me in LinkedIn, I'm the #1. I don't know if it works in the US, but I am the #1 in the UK, and that's out of 1,700 Mike Armstrongs.
Yeah, but you know that. But think about that for a minute. How many people are looking for the service that you provide?
Oh, loads, and it's going to be getting bigger. Loads, it's going to be getting bigger. I market myself as Mike Armstrong, so on all of the stuff I provide, all of my content, like, you know.
Yeah, but across every social media platform, I use one handle and one handle only. TL Burriss, Burriss.
Yeah.
Everywhere I am, it's TL Burriss. So I own that handle on the internet, but I don't market Teddy Burriss. No. I market LinkedIn strategy, training, and coaching. I market LinkedIn as a business tool. Teddy Burriss is just riding on the coattails of those keywords.
Yeah.
So,
and I use a hashtag. I use hashtag Mike Armstrong on everything, so that you can search that hashtag, and because I've done so much content on it, I own it. You know, I've taken ownership of it.
Yeah. Then you own the hashtag.
Yeah. So if you look for that,
more than anybody else does.
Yeah. So when I'm as I keep building my profile, I'm on a mission to become a international global speaker. And once I hit that mark, when people ask how do they get in touch with me, all I got to say is search hashtag Mike Armstrong and find whichever method of getting in touch with me or following me that suits you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Absolutely, I'm with you. So yeah, branding is important. Branding is huge, and none of this is overwhelming. It's consistently doing the same things on a regular basis over and over and over again. You know, and it doesn't have to be. I don't work 40 hours a week.
No,
I don't need to.
No.
You know, but the hours that I do work, I work deliberately focused on the right things that can move me forward.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So something else I'd like to ask you actually, which is a trend I noticed in the business, is there's a lot of people now doing LinkedIn lead generation. Loads of them, manual, automated, mixture of the two, all those sort of things. What's your thought on that whole sector, which seems to have sprung up, a lot in the last year?
I understand that there are a lot of people who want to do things differently than I do, and I accept that. However, that being said, there's a couple things. Number one, I'm not letting anybody log into my LinkedIn account other than me. I don't care who you are. My wife cannot log into my LinkedIn account, okay? Because, that is on the internet. My social media presence is critical to me. I do not want to jeopardize it by having someone log into it in some other country. Secondly, that LinkedIn's terms and services very clearly say you are not allowed to do that. Yeah. So if you're logged in Pakistan on your profile, and then you're also logged into the UK on your profile, that can create a flag and get your account shut down.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the other thing. I have people who sell my services, but they sell it as that agent of Burriss Consulting. They don't pretend to be Teddy Burriss.
No.
And I don't want anybody, even in the slightest little way, to pretend they're me, even if it's just with a LinkedIn invite and then a simple response back. I'm a human, and I want people to know I'm human. I'm real. I do this organically. And one last point, Mike, it's not a freaking race. It's a journey. I don't need to have lead generation guys bringing me their perspective of 15 leads every week, because it's not a race, it's a journey.
Yeah Good. Okay, yeah, that's good to get. So there's some of the things that I think are topical, so hopefully that's added some value to the listenership and the viewership, because it's I'm on LinkedIn all the time and I'm observant, so I see the trends. I've been in sales and marketing a long time. I look for the trends. I look at see what things are doing, and you're in them too. So there's some great value delivered there. I haven't got a LinkedIn mastermind, so feel free to check out Teddy's on his website, and hopefully I might join in it one day, and maybe Teddy comes to mine, even as a guest visitor or something. I think that would be something we could set up. And yeah, you know how to get in touch with Teddy via his LinkedIn and various other platforms. So I think that's pretty much all we need to cover, really. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your wisdom.
Good, Mike. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Wish you all the best.